So we're talking this time about this quote by Beatrix Sheldon. It's important that you are inside of yourself, experiencing your sensations inside of you. That's how you care for you. Nice.
Yeah.
So
what does that mean
what
is
does
the
that
question.
mean is the question. And for some people, they might be thinking, what on
the hell?
earth have to be inside of you? And what this really brings up for me is stuff about the senses.
Okay.
So at school, we're taught about 5 senses. I'm not going to remember them now. Vision, hearing, taste, touch,
Smell.
thank you.
Got your back.
So all of those are external senses.
Okay.
This is information that comes in, to my brain, to my body from the outside world. And that's what people think of as senses. So when I'm kind of talking about what do I experience in my world, what's my sensory experience, what can I touch, what can I feel, blah, blah, blah. Hardly at all do we talk about our internal senses.
Yeah.
It's like they're totally lost. So the fact that there are like over 20 senses, not 5, is lost on a lot of people.
Yeah.
And never mind that a lot of the senses that are missing are internal senses. So like that phenomenal feeling of balancing, that's an internal sense. I mean, our ears help us with it, but it's an internal sense that we have. So that sense of being inside of us is not only knowing about what we're receiving from the outside, but what we're experiencing from our internal senses.
So could this be like our reactions to things, or things that are happening on the inside in different like environments, or am I heading the right way there?
Yeah. So like this is how, this is what I'm feeling inside. So, and it might be because of what's happening outside, but it may be just because of what I'm thinking about inside.
Is causing this internal.
This sense, and this is this. And the only way I can truly know myself is by knowing what I'm experiencing inside myself. And that by paying attention to what I experience inside myself means that I can kind of respond and care for me in my own unique and specific way.
So what's brought to mind for me is conveniently the book's right there, but Dan Siegel describing that as our sixth sense, which is interoception, like the awareness of what's happening within our body. So, which I think is amazing, and I remember reading that not so long ago and being like, wow.
Oh, that's so important.
I thought sixth sense was ghosts and but it's like this awareness of what's happening within. So what I'm really interested in hearing are like what examples of how you've tuned into that, or how do you use your sixth sense?
Well, and the resistance from me is like, we can't call it a sixth sense because there's so many of them, like it denies the complexity of our internal interoception by just bundling it all into one. Does that make sense?
So is interoception better than sixth sense, or is it just this?
So interoception is part of it, and then there's so balance is another one, which is really, really valuable to be paying attention to. So, and kids love it. Like, you watch kids and they're not paying any attention really to what's happening in their outside world. They're literally just doing that, and that feels funky. That they could spend hours doing that. So kids are really in touch with internal sensations much more than adults are. But an example is of course with the seeking system is all about the sense of forward locomotion that isn't coming from outside of us. That desire to move towards something is coming from inside of us. It's a sense of that is in here. No one's pushing you when you do that. That the only way you move forwards is because of an internal, like it starts inside us. So that sense of like we can only know what we want to move towards, we can only care about ourselves by paying attention to what we want to move towards and what we want to pull away from.
Yeah.
So does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, it's beginning. So I think there's something really interesting about, you've just said pulling away from, which my sense is that's what I'm really familiar has happened within me. And the more people that I have conversations with, there is always this, you know, I feel withdrawn, I want to get away, I want to escape. Now obviously the more I've learned, I'm understanding what it is, but could you talk perhaps about that? What is this pulling away, this withdrawal, what's creating that?
What's going on there? Well, in terms of the external world, that's going to be all sorts of different situations that will kind of contribute to that. But internally, there's going to be some messages about this isn't safe, I need to shut down, you know, so it might not be safe, might not be allowed, might not be fruitful. So a lot of people say to me, well, I don't really see the point. You know, I don't see that that's going to get me anywhere. So there's this kind of shutting down, which, you know, is a really interesting thing to pay attention to. Like, wow, I'm being offered something, maybe, you know, I've been offered an opportunity to step towards, you know, something new. And what I'm meeting is an internal sense that there's no point, that it's not allowed, that it's not safe. Does that make sense? But we can only, so the problem is if we're not paying attention to what's happening inside of us, then that can get projected outwards. So, oh, so and so won't like it. You know, oh, it's not really, you know, it wouldn't be allowed in my culture. You know, whatever.
I can't do this. I'm not good enough.
I'm not good at so. But so I was just thinking about projection, like it going outwards.
Someone else.
Going onto others.
Okay.
Because if we're not paying attention to what's happening inside of us, then when we have a strong sense of like don't do it, we've got to make sense of where that's coming from. It may well be coming from inside. But actually, if we're not listening, we're not paying attention to what's happening inside, it may well feel like it's coming from outside. So that's a big problem with not listening, not like making room and living from inside of us and experiencing what's happening inside of us. Then the other part of that is like, okay, so I want to pull away and I'm listening to inside and I'm hearing the voice, strong voice inside that says, don't do it, pull away, it's not allowed, you know, you don't want this, it won't be fruitful, that sort of thing. And again, we want to listen really carefully to inside because we need to check out whether that's a kind of an old habit, an automatic reaction, a naysaying voice that we're bringing from our past or the truth.
Brilliant.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and I just perhaps want to track what you've just said about the past. So in a way, things that have happened to us in the past, potentially like rejection or being hurt, trauma,
banging our head against a brick wall, hasn't worked in the past,
that kind of gets logged in our bodies, and then that's impacting how we react day to day.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we have that chronically, like we, you know, like if we've experienced trauma after trauma after trauma in multiple kind of locations, so in our private life, in our working environment, in the efforts that we have maybe in our hobbies or whatever, if we're kind of struggling and getting blocked in each of those areas for whatever reason, then there's going to be a much more powerful shut down, like wait, kind of hibernate.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
The world isn't safe.
The world, or there's just no point. Just save your energy. You know?
Okay.
Save your energy until effort is more fruitful. You know.
Okay.
So,
And this is our nervous system. Is it that's saying no?
Our emotional systems. Working together to say, pause, retreat.
Don't work.
Wait until times are more. You know, like if we take it back evolutionary, so we're hunting for wildebeest or, you know, berries or something, and we just keep coming back empty-handed,
Yeah.
and we're using all of that energy to get out there and hunt,
Yeah.
actually we may decide to press pause and just wait a day and kind of hold fire, wait until the pack gets nearer, whatever it is, wait until they ripen a bit more, and then we'll go and use our energy. So it's that sort of idea that it's a really healthy mechanism to shut down when we're getting not getting great outcomes.
Yeah, from our environment or from
Yeah.